Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video. And today I have a eyeshadow bank prepared for you, which is a project that was created by Laura First. I'm gonna leave her channel down below, and it essentially means that you're earning points by using your eyeshadows, hitting pans on them, using them up and stuff like that. And you spend points whenever you buy a new palette, so, or eyeshadow singles or stuff like that. So that's kind of the gist of that project, or I don't know how else to call it. So I'm gonna share with you all the statistics for this month, how many points I was able to earn and how many points I've spent. And yeah, also for the eyeshadows that have pans, if I have pictures of them, I'm gonna pop them on the screen so that you can see what I've been able to accomplish this month. I've been pretty good. Like, I actually am super excited about the progress for this month. I wasn't even expecting something so like monumental. Yeah, like when I was counting down all the categories, I was actually really surprised. So hopefully hopefully you'll enjoy that. In case you're new here, hi, my name's Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup, I love eyeshadows, and I love panning. I love all of these things. So hopefully you'll like that too and stick around. I would really appreciate if you could subscribe and give this video a like, and comment down below what's your like latest pans or what eyeshadow palettes you're currently working on or just using regularly. I would love to know. And now for the categories, I'm gonna actually move to the side, and here I'm gonna have a list of all the categories and how many points I earned from that. Most of these rules or point system, or this point system, is inspired by Laura Forrest. I've added a couple categories, and I think some of them are also inspired by Sophie Alexandra because she also does this project. And yeah, that's all I wanted to let you know. I was supposed to upload this video yesterday. I was actually also supposed to film it yesterday, but I wasn't really feeling all that great, so I took a day off. So everything kind of is getting a little bit postponed, but whatever. I just needed a day off. I wasn't feeling all that great. And now, when it comes to my September Eyebank, so I was able to completely use up one eyeshadow palette, and that was the Merry Christmas palette by Odin's Eye, which was one of my Pendos palettes for this year. If you want to see all the statistics for that, I'm gonna leave them in the little card and down below. But it's a couple videos back, well, maybe like a week and a half ago, when I've talked about that. But yeah, that was really exciting. I'm so glad I was able to use that palette up. I only had one shade left to work on in September, so I'm just so happy. And since that palette had 16 eyeshadows, and I decided to reward myself for every single palette I'm gonna use up, because I think it is really incredible if you do manage to do that. So every single time I use up a palette, I'm just gonna kind of give myself all the points for that palette back. So this had 16 pans, which means I would have to spend 160 points if I were to buy it. So if I'm using it up, I'm earning 160 points. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's a great accomplishment, and we're getting quite a lot of points for that. By the way, my goal for this isn't to like punish myself for buying eyeshadows, but I'm just trying to make it a little bit more even. So if I buy something, I also want to have some other, like, I also want to have success with like panning, or just want to make it a little bit even. So every single time I buy something, I also want to use up something, even if it's just like a couple eyeshadows or hit couple pans, or I want to make it kind of even. I don't really care about how many pans I buy in a year, how many I declutter in a year or use up in a year, how many pans I hit. This is just to kind of help me be a little bit more mindful. And if I'm not hitting as many pans, if I'm not hitting my goals, I just want to kind of like punish myself with the lower points, so that I can be reminded that I don't want to actually spend for the next couple of months and make the balance a little bit better. But I don't mind if I'm in the negative numbers. This is just for me to make me a little bit more inspired to work on my panning. So that's a palette that's completely gone from my collection. Then I have one used up shade, which is from that palette, and that's Christmas Tree. And every single time I use up an eyeshadow, I earn 10 points because it takes 10 points to buy an eyeshadow. So I'm just doing the reverse operation. So that's another 10 points. And then for hitting a pan, there's actually multiple pans I've been able to hit. I think it's like 11 or something. I don't know, I can't count it right now. No, it's 13 actually. So one is in the shade Swamp, which is from the Beauty Bay, the Cosmic Beauty Undergrowth palette, that like green palette. So the shade Swamp, it didn't take me that many uses, and it was my Project 20 uses palette, so I was working on that whole palette for 20 looks, so I was able to hit a pan on that one. Then for my latest Project Level Up palette, I was able to hit the pan on the shade The Norns in the Haggard Ecstasy of Saintess palette. It was like that white, like very pale pink shade. Then there was the shade Pumpkin, which is from the Gourmand Girls Spooked palette. It was my first pan in that palette. Then we have the shade Nowhere, which is from the Christmas Eve palette from Uden's Eye. It's the gray matte shade. Then I hit a pan in the shade Hallucinations, which is from the Salmona 2 palette from Uden's Eye. And it's a shimmer purple, I believe. Then the shade Eternal, which is also from Salmona, and I think it's the red shimmer. Then we have the shade Awake, which is from the Tinkerbell palette from Colourpop. And I think this one is the dark green matte shade. Another is Kiyoshi, which is from the Avatar The Last Airbender Earth palette from Lethal Cosmetics, and it's the central shade. It's that kind of like green, gold, peachy, pink shimmer. That one is beautiful. Next to that is the shade Sunlight. And Sunlight is from what? Sunlight. Oh, Sunlight is from the Salmona 2 palette, and it's the kind of orangey, bronzy shimmer shade. Then we have Ethereal, which is from the Beauty Bay Mini Charms palette, and it's the last shade on the last row. It's kind of like a shimmery purple. Well, all of them are shimmer, so the purpley one. Next to that is Scales, and Scales is from the Dragon Eye palette from What's Up Beauty. Then we have Bloody, which is from the Gourmand Girl Spooked palette, and next shade is also from the same palette, and it's called Spirit. So all of these, that's 13, which means I'm earning 65 points because it's 5 points per pan. So that's another 65 points. Then I have my Project 10 uses. Then I have 10 uses, so every single time I hit 10 uses on an eyeshadow, I earn 1 point every single 10 uses. So I was able to hit 10 uses on the shade Silver Dream from Christmas Eve palette. Then the shade Blue Star and Wonderful, also from the same palette, because they're frankened into one eyeshadow. Then I was able to use the shade Feel Think Time 20 times, so I'm earning 2 points for that. 2 points for Milky Way from the Beauty Bay Mini Charms palette. 1 point for Infinity and Aurora and Ethereal from the Beauty Bay Mini Charms. 1 point for the shade Meteor, and I think that one is from the Salmona 2 palette. 1 point for Kiyoshi from the Little Avatar palette. Then 1 point for the Silvery Snake shade from Shall We Makeup's Liana palette. Then we have the shade Soft Cloud, which is from the Salmona 2 palette. Then the shade Nowhere, I've used 20 times. That one is from the Christmas Eve palette, and the next shade is also from that same palette, and it's the shade Softly, and I actually have 3 points for that because I've used it every single day for my brows, so I have 30 uses on that. Then another 1 point is the shade Sunlight from the Salmona palette, also the shade Eternal, the shade The Norns, which I've had a pan, and then the shade In from the Cinch Beauty Galactic Visitor palette. It's the third shade on the first row because the first row says we come in peace. And every single shade has like one word. So the shade In. So for this, I'm earning 23 points because that's how many shades I've mentioned. Then the next category is No Pen Left Behind, which means that you use every single pen in an eyeshadow palette. So you use every single shade at least once. And if you do that, you've no pen left behind that palette. For this, I also earn 1 point per palette. And I was able to no pen left behind the Undergrowth palette from Cosmic Beauty, the Galactic Visitor palette from Cinch Beauty, the Magnetic Mineralia dupe that I filmed a video a while ago. Then my autumnal BYOP that I always like create seasonal BYOPs. My Solmona 2 palette, it's my Panda palette or one of them. Then the Earth palette from the Avatar The Last Airbender collection from Little. Then the Haunted Europe palette from Nomad Cosmetics that I was kind of finishing my haul and like a review on. Then the Salem City palette from Nomad Cosmetics that I've just filmed my review not that long ago. And then I've used the Sheen Effect I think it's like Chameleon something palette. It's a small little 9 pan, and I actually no pen left behind that twice. And then the Spooked palette from Gourmand Girls, I also no pen left behind that twice. So I'm earning 2 points. And in total, I'm earning 12 points for this category. Then I earn 1 point every single time I use an eyeshadow palette for 20 different looks in a year. And that happened for the Merry Christmas palette, for the Christmas Eve palette, for the Liana palette by Show You Makeup, then the Mini Charms palette from Beauty Bay, and I actually was able to hit 40 uses because I had like some uses from last month and then from this month, so it so I'm earning 2 points. And then the Salmona 2 and the Legend of Korra palette, so I'm earning 7 points for this category. Then every single time I use an eyeshadow 25 times, I'm earning 2 points for that. And that happened for the shade Nowhere and Softly. Both are from the Christmas Eve palette by Odin's Eye, so I'm earning 4 points since it's 2 shades. Then for eyeshadow that I was able to hit 75 uses on, and it's also the shade Softly, so I'm earning 3 points for that. I always like, every single time I hit 50 uses, I'm also counting 1 point for the 25 uses because it is an additional 25 uses. But I also have hit the 50 uses mark, if that makes sense. There's a shade that I also was able to... then there's palettes that I've hit, that I've used 50 times. Then there are palettes that I've used for 50 looks this year. And that's the Christmas Eve, Mini Charms, and Tinkerbell palette. And for each, I'm earning 2 points, so that's 6 points in total. And one eyeshadow palette I was able to hit 100 uses on this month. Like 100 looks created with that palette, and that's the Mini Charms palette. Actually, I've used it like 113 times, I believe, this year. And that earns me 4 points. I earn 2 points for my palette crush of the month if I do complete that project. And palette crush of the month is my own project, and it essentially means that you have to use an eyeshadow palette every single day you do your makeup for a whole month. You don't have to use just that palette, but you have to use that palette at least a little bit. So that gives me 2 points. And my latest palette crush of the month for like half of September was, because I always start around like 15th or 16th every single month, it was the Salmona 2 palette. So that's another 2 points. And then I spent 180 points because I bought the Salem City palette from Nomad Cosmetics. That is a bigger palette. It has 18 eyeshadows, and every single eyeshadow, since I bought it myself, I haven't received it as a gift from anyone. It costs me 10 points per pan, so that's 180 points spent. At the beginning of the month, we started at negative 575 points. It was not a good number. I've spent 180 points on the Salem palette, and I've earned 296 points. So now we're at negative 459 points, which definitely got a lot better. Like, I'm better by like 116 points, I think. We're a little bit closer to 0, which I would love to get towards 0 or a little bit in the positive numbers by the end of the year. But I don't know if that's gonna happen because I just received the Clio Nat on Top of the World package that I bought, and then I bought one palette secondhand, so I'm gonna count it as half the points. Did I buy anything else? I don't think I bought anything else, but I think I'm gonna buy something. So yeah, and I still have to review my Basic Witch from Bella Beauty Bar and the Chamonix Après-Ski from Noma, which I will do. Like, one of them will be, I'm gonna start filming with the Basic Witch tomorrow, and the Chamonix Après-Ski will be a review for November. I'm gonna film with that during November, so that's when I'm gonna count the points for that. But yeah, I kind of worry that I'm probably gonna buy something else too, but I hope I'm gonna finish up the Christmas Eve palette, because I have one Franken-shade that consists of 3 shades from that palette. Then I have 2 matte shades and 1 shimmer shade, and I think one of the shimmer shades, and then the Franken shade, I think I'm gonna be able to use up for next month, which will give me 40 points. And then I think I'm gonna be able to hit a couple pans. Like, lately I've been able to hit like 11 to 13 pans monthly. So I think if I'm gonna try, I could actually get a couple points. Yeah, I hope. But I'm very proud of myself. This was definitely a lot better month than the previous ones. I am trying to not buy too many products, and I'm trying to like dupe, no pen left behind my palettes, finish the Project 20 uses, and yeah, just, I don't know how many shades I'm gonna be able to finish. I hope I'm gonna finish the whole Christmas Eve. I'm really happy with the pans. Like, 13 pans a month, that's a lot, and that's great. Let me know how many pans you usually hit in a month. Obviously, a lot of these are from pads that have been in my collection for a very long time, and I've used them multiple times already, so it was bound to happen soon. But it's still really nice, and I love going through my collection and now seeing that these older palettes actually have pans. It's just so nice, because before this year, I would usually just kind of use my palettes, like try to use every palette a couple times a year at least, obviously, and then there would be palettes that I focus more on because I like them more. They're just, I don't know, I want to get them out of the collection. But I want to have them also look used and have the pans and everything, and I'm just really enjoying all of these panning projects, honestly. So write your comments down below, let me know what you think, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow with another video. So bye!